Real Nerds is a proud partner of the Denver Podcast Network. In the shadow of the mountains,
we speak.
Hello, everybody. I'm JD Lopez, the host of Left Hand Right Brain. It's a free-flowing, wide-ranging conversation that I have with artists doing interesting and creative things here in Denver and beyond. We talk about their personal stories, break down their creative process, and what motivates them. Spoiler alert, it's mostly spite. We talk about all these things and more while kicking back, cracking wise, and always having a good time. You can find old episodes and everything you need to know at lefthandrightbrainpod.com.
Oh, hi, podcast listeners. There's many ways you can listen to the Real Nerds podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can also subscribe on Stitcher Radio. You want to send us a Twitter message? You can do that. It's so easy, at Real Nerds. Like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com, where there'll be a lot of articles for you to not only read, but to listen to our previous shows. You can also call us, 720-6nerds5. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Jonathan Tiersten from The Perfect House and Sleepaway Camp, and you are listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Welcome to another Real Nerds Podcast interview from Denver Pop Culture Con 2019. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast live from Denver Pop Culture Con 2019. I'm joined by Alucard, and he's here to tell me a little bit about Batman v Dracula, or Batman versus Dracula?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Versus.
Versus, okay, cool. So it's not Zack Snyder involved. So tell me a little bit about Batman versus Dracula, because I'm curious. I've never heard of this story before.
It's a movie. It's on DVD.
Okay, right on. Give me the plot synopsis here.
Like, it has in Arkham, it takes in the storyline of the Batman series. Like, it takes us at Arkham first. Penguin is trying to focus on the game, but this other guy, he keeps bothering him about stuff. But when he starts to talk about treasure, that's when Penguin starts listening.
Well, of course, Mr. Cobblepot really loves his gold and silver.
Yep. But the guy, he leaves out some details. Like, he said it was behind a casket with a cross. But, knowing Gotham, there's more than one. So, on accident, he stumbles into Dracula's crypt. And when he tries to get the crypt open, because think about it, if there's a crypt, he doesn't know there's Dracula in it. He thinks there's treasure.
Right. No, absolutely. He's just going there for the goods. He's not going in there to deal with a vampire.
On accident, when his umbrella cuts him, and since Dracula wasn't turned to ash, one drop of blood was all it took to make him come back.
Ooh, Snoop. Snap, man.
But Dracula, he doesn't know that he's in Gotham.
So he doesn't know he's in Gotham. So he's been transported not knowing where he is.
Yeah, because because the people of Transylvania, they kind of staked him when he wasn't looking.
Right on. Perfect. Well, what do you like about that story? And why would you choose to kind of name yourself after it?
Because Dracula is the Prince of Darkness.
Right.
But reverse it, and it means the Prince of Light.
Right on. So you want to take a positive spin on the Dracula mythos a little bit.
Yeah. And in real life, they say he was actually the meanest king. But to the Transylvanian people, he was not actually mean. He was actually their hero.
Right on.
Because he did the one thing that no one ever did.
What did he do?
He stopped the Turks.
That is true.
And he was betrayed by the church.
That is true. Actually, these are the things that are coming back to my mind from the mythos of Dracula that you hear in all those documentaries about the mythos of Dracula and vampires.
Dracula could actually be real because the curse is like a disease. So if it could be put in someone, it could be cured.
Right.
And the blindness does, the sunlight burning thing, it does happen to some people.
Yeah, so there you go. So then there's a bit of a realistic context to everything in those films.
Yeah, and also so does the mirror thing.
Hmm.
Like when a person gets bit by a bat with rabies, low blood sugar, nervous, loss of appetite, and not be able to look yourself in the mirror is
Right.
those symptoms.
Huh. Right on.
Yeah.
So Alucard, like, what brings you to Denver Pop Culture Con this year?
I always come, like, it's a lot of fun.
Right on. What do you like doing here the most?
Seeing the comic guys, because this is the one time I actually be myself. Well, my sister's breathing down my neck.
Right on. What is your cosplay here today?
I'm Super Knight. I make my own hero.
Right on. Cool. Super Knight. So I'm going to describe it for people who are listening. It's kind of like is it a jaguar or a
Panther.
a panther?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a panther.
But on Super Knight's world, it's not a panther.
Right on.
It's his house symbol. It means hope.
Okay. Perfect. And then you've got a kind of a armory glove there. Kind of looks like Batman, but
Yeah.
like, do you think someone stole this from Batman, or is it just?
No, it's like the same type of model. It's just that it was the only thing I could find, like, with black gloves. Because
Okay.
black and purple,
Yeah. And then you've got some sunglasses there.
yeah.
Which is,
Kind of secret identity thing.
yeah. There you go. Keep people from knowing who you are on that one.
Yeah, because
Well,
Yeah,
also you got to look cool when you're doing your thing.
Super Knight, he's kind of an alien.
Yeah. There you go.
There's only one thing that could hurt him.
What can hurt him?
The metal from his planet. It kind of blew up.
So it blew up. No, so his planet blew up.
Yeah, he's the only last survivor.
Okay. So he's not Superman though. He's kind of like different from it.
Like, kind of like a Saiyan mixed with Superman.
Okay. Cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, what has been your favorite part of the experience at the con this year thus far?
Meeting Sam Jones, the guy who played
Flash Gordon.
Gordon.
Ah, you like you some Flash Gordon then?
Yeah, I even took a picture of him.
Right on. Perfect. Did you like him in Ted as well?
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's a fun moment, right?
Yeah, being the stars is a real good moment.
Do you plan on meeting any other celebrities today?
No,
No, no.
like, now back to the Dracula thing.
Sure.
He, after Dracula is brought back, he feasts on a guard.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it, if you were a vampire, wouldn't you be hungry after, like, 100 or millions of years?
It is true. I'd be starving.
Can I get my bag? Because
Yeah. No, absolutely.
because I don't want to.
Yeah. No worries. There you go.
Yeah, so he tells Calabot he needs a servant,
Right.
but knowing Calabot, he won't do it.
Right.
So Dracula puts him under hypnosis.
Which is one of his known powers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but really they don't know. People don't know if it's really a thing of power of a vampire because they think it's psychological.
Right on. So so people don't believe that it's actually coming from a supernatural element.
Yeah.
Right. That makes perfect sense.
So Dracula, he eventually hypnotized Calabot to be his lackey.
Okay. And so, how does Batman figure into all of that?
Oh, I'm getting to that. Calabot says if he wants to become the big top, like, of the rich and famous, he has to take down the one person who's bigger in Gotham. Bruce Wayne.
Oh, so not even Batman, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, so Bruce Wayne, he goes, first he meets vampires. And he is no match for them. Like, it rips his costume on his gloves. Like, they're totally inspiring my language, but they are kicking his ass. Like,
Yeah.
he is no match for him. And after he meets the vampires, he throws a party like a banquet.
Huh, okay.
And when in Dracula he meets Bruce Wayne at the banquet.
Okay, and then there's a bit of a conflict there.
Yeah, because he's like all devil wears souffla.
Right.
And he doesn't approve of Bruce's work about taking solar rays and making them into energy.
Yeah, bit of a power struggle going on there.
Yeah, but he tries to hypnotize Bruce. But first, Dracula tries to hit on his girlfriend, Vicky Vale.
Yeah, well, of course Dracula would do that.
Yeah. He might be old, but he still know how to make some bats fly.
Right.
So, after he tried to offer him some garlic, and that's actually true.
Right.
Because vampires actually have better senses than us.
Right.
So they would smell it better.
Right.
So, in the end, he actually bites one of Wayne's waiters. And Alfred, he thought the guy was just trying to skip out of work. You know what I mean? So, but guess what Alfred saw? When he grabbed his shoulder, he saw no reflection.
Right. So therefore, Alfred already suspects what's going on.
Yeah, so after Alfred tells Bruce that, he writes the name Dr. Alucard in the mirror, and it spells Dracula.
So he figures out the anagram right there and then, yeah.
Yeah, and also even Joker's in it.
Joker's in this one too, really?
Yeah, but they think Batman, he accidentally lets Joker fall to his death by getting shocked with his own toy buzzer. But he actually survives.
Ooh.
And Cobblepot, he tries to get Joker not to go see Dracula because Joker thinks it's just treasure he's hiding.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. So Dracula, in the end, bites Joker.
Huh.
So, and he goes on a blood bank rob.
Ooh, okay.
So guess what Batman does?
Yeah, nice little clever take on Joker's bank robbing techniques.
Yeah, so he and knowing the facts and fictions about vampires, he uses that against Joker.
Right on.
For he could capture a vampire and use it as a cure.
Okay. So that's kind of how it wraps itself up a little bit.
Yeah, and then he eventually finds out a cure to defeat the vampire infection.
Right on. Cool. Well, that's been a bit of an education for me on Batman versus Dracula.
And also Dracula kind of kidnapped Vicky.
Oh, so
because he has a thing for her body, but not her mind.
Oh.
He kind of uses some kind of weird kind of voodoo thing where he takes her soul and transfers it into his girlfriend's ashes.
To contribute to his brides.
Yeah. But luckily for Batman, luckily for his girlfriend, Batman was able to take Dracula's armies down by turning all his minions back into the way they were. But there was one fallback on the serum.
Huh.
It makes them forget they were ever bitten.
Okay.
So, but it doesn't work on Dracula because his transformation was a mystical,
right?
Not a bit. He wasn't bitten,
right? So then, therefore, he's not gonna have that same effect on the amnesia.
Yeah.
Right.
So they fight a lot, but Bruce is kind of getting knocked kicked out of him. But eventually, he uses the sun machine to fry him, killing Dracula once and for all.
Nice. It's an interesting twist on the Dracula tale, adding the Batman into it.
Yeah.
Can't think of two more interesting pop culture characters to smash together.
Yeah. I'm the only boy of my mom's.
Huh.
Yeah. It's hard having, like, 4 sisters.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, thankfully you've got stuff like that to kind of keep you entertained, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus I have my Uncle Joey. He's cool.
Right on. Well, I appreciate you, Alucard, coming down and talking with me a little bit and educating me on Batman versus Dracula.
You're welcome.
Yeah. This has been Zach talking to Alucard at Real Nerds Podcast live at Denver Pop Culture Con 2019.
This has been another Real Nerds Podcast interview from Denver Pop Culture Con 2019. See you next year.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.